It do the thing, it do the thing. Okay, the game I'm playing doesn't matter, I just need to rant about something, so we're just gonna get, like, a quick loadout sorted. Does this work? No. Let's not do that. God, this game is dead, by the way, if you haven't noticed. No one plays it anymore. But we'll do patrol, take mortar, take commando, and we'll take a Z. There we are. I'll work barracks into this somehow, but... Well, barracks is basically a dead slot, so... Here we are. I've never actually triumphed this game, so we'll see if this can do it. But... in recent years, something has come to my attention in my home country. And if you don't know where my home country is, how dare you? So, I have a British accent, which might make me think I'm from England. And if you think that, did I put soldier instead of patrol? Oh, fucking kill myself. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. All of those maps are, you know what? Give me like a bad map, I don't even care. Right, but as an English person, an Englishman, some would say, FIFA, whatever the fuck, yeah, so I have encountered a problem in my country that I feel like I need to address. An issue that is quite severe in the thoughts, the minds, the way people just act in this nation. And I think, honestly, we need to talk about this, because it's gonna be bad if we don't. Right? So, and I'm gonna say it in the most clear, plain as day, no metaphors, just true facts here, to every single British person watching this. We aren't a world superpower anymore, and we probably won't ever fucking be one again, unless we get 100 years of straight up nothing but getting money. Okay? And that might sound a bit doomery, that might sound a bit, are you stupid, mate? Of course we're Britain, we can do it, we can do anything, we're English. And well, yes, I appreciate the energy, and I appreciate the patriotism. You are fucking wrong. So, essentially, the problem with England is that we had the worst decade in our history in the 1970s. We brought it back by selling off all of our industry. So, in other words, what Thatcher basically did, in essence, is mass privatisation. Which is, if you don't understand the meaning of that, the government can't afford to do this, so we're going to get someone else to do it, and they're going to buy it off of us. Which makes sense in the short term. If you can't afford to do something, stop paying to do that something. It makes sense. It's an alright thought at the time. Was it good? Undeniably, it did lead to economic growth. But the issue becomes, when we don't solve the root causes of those problems, which are just the fact that our economy is managed poorly no matter which government gets in, because none of our politicians know what they're fucking doing, and it's getting bad, like, genuinely. None of the parties right now, right, I'm going to say this now, there are 5 parties that people actually have heard of, and I don't care about half of them. So the Green Party, nobody cares, no one likes you. Labour are just shit. Conservatives, same, just shit. Lib Dems will never win, so no one fucking cares. The only thing you're good for is tactically voting so that one of the other two doesn't go in. And Reform are just actual fascists. So we aren't really dealing with a really great lot here. I will say, we aren't doing brilliantly. And then, so, what are we going to do with our economy? Well, we're going to die. That's the long and the short of it. No matter how the Labour government goes, or no matter who wins the next general election, the economy has been in a tailspin ever since the 2008 recession, and some would argue before that, and we can't recover it. Because the thing is, the only reason that Thatcher's ideas worked is because we had a country to sell. Now we don't have one of those. We rent our country from all of the billionaires who own all of our industry. And that might sound ridiculous, but you know how in America you have federal prisons, right? You send someone to prison, that prison is like the government's thing. You know, if you're an American, you know this. In England, and if you don't know this and you live in England, you should. Our prisons are owned by private fucking companies, and the government pays them a fee to take prisoners. I am not joking. I'm not making shit up. I'm not pulling your legs. This is fact. This is a true thing. This is happening. And it's bad. Right? We can all agree that you should at the very least own your fucking prisons. You know, as a government. If you're going to own the police, who are responsible for sending people to them. Okay, well it's not all of them, it's some of them. I don't know if it's all of them. I feel like it very depressingly could be, but I won't say for certain it's all of them, but I know damn well some of them are. Okay? The only real thing we have left is the NHS. That's it. That's what we've got left. Our water is owned by other people. you know. And who are those people owned by? More people, rich people usually. Most of London is owned by Russians, or money launderers. And that might sound stupid, but Google the number of Russian oligarchs that have property in London that's been either seized or left alone since the Ukraine war, and the number of them that still have that property since the war began. It is depressingly high for a country that is trying to supposedly crack down on immigration that's causing negative things for the country. But of course, that immigration is being complained about by the party who's being paid for by the Russians, aka all of the right-wing parties who wanted Brexit. Yeah, it's not great, to be honest. We were manipulated as a nation and we're seeking to blame everyone but ourselves. And it's the same thing with our economy, really. It's shit because we fucked it up as a country. Because of, well, first of all, we let unions get out of control, which, while a union is, in theory, a good thing, because giving workers rights is a good thing, people having rights is good, giving them the power to turn off all of your electricity so that you only have essentially a 3-day week is not good, I will say that. Which, that problem was, again, solved, temporarily, but now we just don't have the power to complain about any more issues to the government. And also, well, I don't know how to say this in a way that sounds, like, nice, but we're just kind of fucked. Like, in the most plain possible way, because, well, let's look, right, England domestically is a mess, but let's look at internationally. Maybe we've got a strong enough military that we're still a superpower, right? We should be thinking, you know, the Royal Navy's strong, the Army's good, the RAF, they're good, we beat the Nazis. And I'll just point out that the RAF that beat the Nazis, the Navy that beat the Nazis, the tanks, the Army that beat the Nazis, they don't exist anymore. They were cut back when government spending was reduced. Like, please. They aren't a thing anymore. I wish they were, but we can't even make enough tanks to sustain ourselves. And the hulls that we sent to Ukraine are having problems because we can't afford the spare parts. Also, we can't show off anything anymore. Have you heard of the Challenger 3? You've probably heard it was a thing that we were making. It's a thing we've made. It exists. It's like a real thing. It's a real tank. It exists in real life. And did I find out about this from the news? Did I find out about this from, like, an official source or a military history show? Did I find out about this from promotional material on YouTube or propaganda? I found out about this from a fucking PNG tuber. Yeah, the Laserpig video about the British Army was the fucking way I found out that we finished making the Challenger 3, our current most advanced main battle tank ever produced in the UK. A fucking Laserpig video, which, no offense to the guy, he's funny, but that should not be a way that you find out about very important information like a tank existing. You know? You shouldn't find out about it from some bloke on YouTube making a video about how we can't show off anything. Which, in fairness, he's right. You can't just show off a tank by putting it in harsh lighting and having a politician talk about it. Show it blowing something up. Show it shooting something. Put big fucking horns on it and make it go brrr. Make it like machine gun, do the shooty things, because that makes people excited. It makes people think, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Don't just stick it in a room and have it sit still and then have people talk about it. Like, come on, man. Like, Jesus Christ. And then, what about our Navy? Our Navy is the best of the three. It's not doing great, but from what I can tell, I've not heard any stories of it being dramatically failed, so at least we haven't completely lost it. And our Air Force is held up entirely by American aircraft, because, well, we haven't made a domestic stealth aircraft project, and people who are going to go, well, stealth doesn't work, it's not real, it doesn't function, it's not a real thing, it's just a gimmick, it's going to be gone. You do realise that you're wrong, right? Like, you do understand this fact, that you are fundamentally incorrect. Because the thing is, while you can have non-stealth aircraft, I'd much rather that our aircraft is harder to lock onto with a missile that's going to blow it up, than the other option of it being easier to lock onto with a missile that's going to blow it up. I don't know, that might just be personal preference, but I don't like our pilots dying and being exploded. It just seems like a good idea to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm high, but I'm not high, I've had like a can of Coke today, so I'm caffeinated ever so slightly, which for some reason just gives me the energy to go off about shit. Right? And then what about our Air Force or Navy or Army? Yeah, we can't afford those. We can't afford them. We can't afford to defend ourselves. Our nuclear deterrent is actively falling into the sea, or at least it feels like it is, because what are we going to shoot down with that? Nothing. The only grace of God we've got is that Russia's nukes are all Soviet era, and let's be fucking honest, they don't work anymore, probably. I mean, it would be optimistic to say that Russia's nuclear arsenal still functions at the capability that it is supposed to, or that it ever did function at that capability when it most likely didn't. Because, like, if you're a country driving your nukes around the block and painting new numbers on them, you've probably fucked up somewhere along the way. And that's another thing. We're still stuck in the idea of the Cold War. Like, as a country, we're still stuck in the idea that we can do things. We can't even win the World Cup of a sport we invented. We made football, and we keep fucking losing it. Well, the women don't. They're doing fairly alright. But the blokes are being too busy being paid to fucking millions to fall over than they are actually doing anything useful. I mean, seriously, it's a fucking shambles. Then again, what in this country isn't nowadays anyway? And I know I'm going to sound like you're not patriotic, you just hate England, you're one of them foreign people, you know? It's been going downhill since 08. Like, the removal of regulation. Right, so I'm doing a politics A level. I understand that in liberalism, there's the concept of negative freedom, which is if you remove a law, you give freedom. This is true. However, what kinds of freedom are you giving by removing laws? Because sometimes it's good, it's like, oh, you know, equality. But even then, we don't remove laws to put in, like, gay marriage, we add a law that says it's possible. So that's positive freedom, that's different, you know? And the negative and positive both give freedom, it's just that the freedom from positive freedom is by adding laws or restraints that make the country freer, which sounds like an oxymoron until you realise that the purpose of the law is basically just to stop the economy from blowing itself up and to stop the country from blowing itself up. And I know that sounds like bad, but does the law wash your dishes for you, or does the law stop someone from breaking into your house and hitting you over the head with them? It's very simple to understand, okay? And what I don't get is when people say, like, oh, the government putting in new taxes for the wealthy would kill all of us. No, it wouldn't. I love watching the rich complain about being taxed, because they're always like, this is going to affect you! And then I look into who it's going to affect, and it's like, people who are investing in shares. Yeah, no, it's mate. I'm fine. I don't care. I can't fucking afford to invest. You wanna know why? Because I have a job, but I'm legally not allowed to work more hours than I am, and I'm in A-levels, so I can't exactly spend way more time at work than I want to. I can fit in 4 hours of work in a week, which makes me a grand total of 30 quid. Oh boy, so exciting. I mean, it's a lot more than I had, which was my allowance of about 50 quid a month from pocket money and an allowance from my grandparents and parents, which is just the child benefit we're paid by a bank, because of course the government can't afford to pay its own benefits. Oh yeah, that's nothing, people are complaining about benefits. Benefits have been gutted to shit. Like, benefits are not costing us that much as a country. So, but people are getting them and they're not working. Yeah, because they're getting them because they can't work. You know, oh, they're just saying they can't work, how do you know? Well, I don't know, the fact they're in a fucking wheelchair. It's like, oh, they're just scrounging, yeah, because it's much easier for you to blame this fictional person who is just stealing all of your money and taking your taxes away than it is to accept the fact that maybe our government just isn't qualified to spend its own money. Like, genuinely, I don't understand how people sit there trying to genuinely blame anything on immigrants. And I know that doesn't sound like immigrants thing, but the amount of people who are sitting there going, we're spending so much money putting them in hotels, they aren't even working, and they're taking all our jobs, and this, and this. No, my friend, what you are falling victim to is called scapegoating. This is where you just pick a group, pick any group, okay? Let's say we have decided that we don't like people with the first name John. Why? Don't know, we just don't, okay? Now, people with the first name John can now be blamed for anything. Why? Because that policy to a human who is, you know, a normal fucking person taking part in society sounds utterly ridiculous. What do you mean you're just going to look at people who are named John that like they are bad unless they change their names? That sounds stupid. And that's because it is. But if you go, well no, because people named John are more likely to kill people, and they commit more crime than anyone else does based on their population size, and they do this, this, and this, and they're trying to turn all your kids gay, and they're trying to touch your kids, and oh my god, people named John are mutilating children, and people named John are taking all your jobs and they're not working, and suddenly you think, oh god, these people sound horrible, we should get rid of them, you know, I mean that just sounds terrible, how can anyone do this? You've fallen victim to scapegoating, congratulations, you believe the propaganda. And no, you aren't immune to propaganda. I'm going to say this now, I am not immune to propaganda. You are not immune to propaganda. It's simply the propaganda you're more likely to fall for. Sitting there, and I'm looking in the face of this, if you think you're too smart to fall for it, you've already fucking fallen for it, you stupid idiot. right? I'm gonna say that now. You are not immune to it. And this isn't like the Garfield meme, this is the fact. You will never be immune to propaganda because it's just making people think things by telling them stuff. The ability for people to be affected by information is not decided by how smart they are. It's decided by their ability to take in information at face value or to apply critical thinking. And if you think, yeah, I've applied critical thinking, I know what I'm talking about, and then proceed to tell me some conspiracy nonsense, no you haven't, it's just the people you take your information from have done less research than the people most people do. It's like, I don't believe the mainstream media, they lie to us. Yes, the media does lie to you, but not about the shape of the Earth. Like, honestly, seriously, think about it. Why would we lie to people like this? I'm going off on a ramble here, and I know I sound completely nonsensical and incoherent to anyone with a brain listening to this, but in fairness, I have a point. And the point is something misinformation bad, because I didn't really... This is unscripted, this is just me talking. I probably sound about as coherent as Putin in that one interview with Tucker Carlson, but like, hey, at least I'm trying. Please tell me you guys can kill lightnings, because I know what it says here, we're chilling, at least until those hidden bosses fuck me over. We can kill the first one, maybe, I don't know about the second one though. Yeah, now we did. We did. Wave 20, oh no, wave 26, we survived. GG. GG. Good game. I shouldn't have brought soldier instead of patrol, that's entirely on me. But, right? Let's say this now. We have abandoned the way that things should work in favour of the way that people have told us things should work. And that might sound dumb, because how on earth do you think things should work differently than how they actually work? And what if those people are right? Now, people think Britain's a superpower. We aren't. Realistically, we're a mess. Foreign relations-wise, Starmer, I'm going to give Keir Starmer some credit. I know that sounds deranged, but hear me out, okay? That man is somehow keeping our relationship with America alive. Like, do you know how annoying Trump must be to talk to spend, like, any level of time with? That man must be insufferable. I mean, it would be like listening to someone sniffing their own farts and then telling you should too because of how good it smells. Seriously, he's got a fucking Gestapo police force going around kicking people over and taking them into custody because they're the wrong colour. Like, seriously, as a white American, if you're a white American and you've watched 17 and 40 minutes and 40 seconds of this ramble, tell me, do you carry ID, your birth certificate, and every single piece of documentation that would be required to prove that you are an American citizen, you were born there, and that you have a birthright citizenship to people? Do you carry all of that information? No. No, you do not. You do not carry all of that information with you, because that would be fucking mental. Yet apparently, if you're brown and you do the same thing, clearly you're an illegal Mexican immigrant who's also a rapist. I don't make the rules, ICE does. Who makes the rules for ICE? ICE does! Is that a problem? No, don't fucking complain about ICE, because ICE makes the rules, and they say that if you complain about them, we're going to put you in the box and send you to El Salvador and do whatever the hell else we're doing to you. I mean, seriously, they've sent American citizens have been deported because they didn't believe they were citizens, because they were the wrong colour. This is making Jim Crow look tame. Because once it's done being Mexicans, it's going to be black people, it's going to be gay people, it's going to be trans people. They're going to put autistic people in camps and ban Tylenol. Like, honestly, their country has lost its fucking mind. And the world is as well, right? I am sat here, knowing what I know about history and about the modern world, and knowing that we fucking lost the plot. Like, seriously, America, as a country, used to be a vast empire, with the ability to police the world, stop terrorism, save the economy, keep everything going, outproduce other nations. And nowadays, it's a man with dementia trying to call the police and get loads of stuff happening and saying that everyone else is causing the problems when the call's coming from inside the fucking house. And we're no better. Because of our special relationship with America, we've sort of been importing their politics for the last however long it's been. And that sounds mental, but it's true. Like, Thatcher's economics and Reaganomics are basically the same thing. And I'm going to say this now, trickle-down economics doesn't work. We all know that it doesn't work, apart from the people who keep going for it. Don't worry, they also know that it doesn't work, it's just that it gives them money. Could the next wave come, please? I don't want to lose all this health stuff for no reason. Get game? You gonna... Get them, boys. Alright, these guys need upgrading. Because we're going to have trouble punching through slows. Feels a bit rude just calling them slows. But that is what they're called, in fairness. That is what they're called. Although that does sound like people trying to say, oh, you can use retard because it was a medical term. Like, yeah, mate, of course, because you're using it in a medical context and not just to compare your mate to some bloke who's got Down syndrome. Of course, yeah. But, back to England, okay? The land of the free, a country that shall never be slaves unless they read the sun, right? We're very patriotic as a nation. We're very chest-thumping, very Britain's the best, Britain comes first, you know. We do everything better than everyone else because we're British. And I will admit, we do things a lot funnier than everyone else. Just try watching the American In-Betweeners for 5 seconds, and you'll immediately know why the British version is more popular. I mean, seriously, MTV, what were you thinking? But, besides the point of that, this is just a crash out. This entire video is just me crashing out about like 400 different things because I have no one to talk to this shit about because I am severely autistic. And no, I am diagnosed. That isn't just me saying I'm autistic. Now, I've been eating the Tylenol. I'm diagnosed with autism. It's fine. But I actually hope Tylenol causes autism because then I can pour it into the water supply and fix England's fucking trains. Right. I like trains. That shouldn't be surprising because I play Warhammer. But well, there isn't even trains in Warhammer. It's just their nets that catch autistic people because Warhammer's fun and trains are like, they run on time and shit and they look cool and they work easily and they're easy to understand. But, right, we don't own our own rail networks, but somehow the government is expected to build the rails that the trains run on. And I understand that with the idea of privatisation, it's that competition will make companies want to make things better. And yeah, I understand that. iPhone wants to make a better phone than Android does. Android wants to do the same. Google is doing whatever the fuck Google is doing. And everyone's trying to have their own new little AI assistant that no one wants, but are all stuck with. Like, seriously, if I could remove Gemini from my phone, it would be so easy. Because I have, as a phone, a Galaxy A23 from Samsung. I know, I run older phones because they're cheaper to buy, and I can't be fucking asked to pay for new phones. But the problem with this is that Gemini is installed on my phone, and I use wired headphones because they're cheaper, and because I prefer them, personally. It's just like a personal thing. I don't trust Bluetooth, and I don't like the idea of trying to have to charge my earbuds. It just sounds weird, right? But my little, you know that little button they put on wired headphones? Like, it's on the left earbud, sometimes the right one, but usually the left one, where it's like you push it, it like pauses, plays your music and stuff. Well, mine keeps fucking summoning Google Assistant. Like, I'm not even joking. It's like, Gemini, I need you for something. No, I don't. No one asked you. Go away. I understand this functions as the microphone when I'm on call, but that doesn't mean I want you here. Leave me alone, you little shit. I'm trying to listen to bad music. My music taste isn't bad, it's just anime openings, the Pacific Rim soundtrack, and whatever the fuck kind of music the score makes. But my point. Competition is supposed to drive productivity and, like, good up, right? You know, if you're in a contest with someone, you're going to want to do better than them. That makes sense. How does that work with water companies and trains, Thatcher? Right? Explain this to me. How is a company that does water supposed to try and compete with its, like, other companies? Because the infrastructure's going to cost them the same, and they're all selling the exact same thing, which is water with the sewage that they're pumping into it slightly removed. Like, seriously, what the fuck is this? And if people try telling you they're putting chemicals in the water, those people aren't wrong, they're just wrong about the chemicals. No, look into the amount of sewage pollution that Thames Water's putting in stuff. Look at all that. There can't be competition in those markets, because where would it come from? Importing other countries' water? Do you know how fucking stupidly expensive that would be? Because water, and I know you don't think this when you pick up a glass of water, water is heavy. Or water, if you're American. Water is heavy, turns out. But, right, water's heavy. Bottle of water in it. Right, oh, fucking hell. I need meds, probably. I think I have ADHD. Oh well, okay. I feel like a Fred video with how off the rails shit's getting. That's fine. That's just fine. So, you can't really have competition with water, because water's really heavy, you can't ship it anywhere. Okay? Like, why do you think people in deserts suffer so much because they don't have water? Because you can't send it to them. It doesn't fly very well. Try filling a... Well, you might think, well, we'll just ship it with boats then. Yeah, fill a boat with water. That sounds like a brilliant plan. And I don't mean like bilge tanks, I mean putting water on ships. Oh wait, they'll sink. So yeah, aside from that minor issue of water happening to be the thing in the ocean, as well as on the ocean, if you're trying to ship it, so you just have it in places. But right, the environment is dead, is dying, speaking of water, because the oceans are heating up, which is killing coral, which has made the Great Barrier Reef look like it's in a silent film. And if you don't get that wording, I pray for your media literacy. It's a reference to something. It relies on your ability to understand what another thing is. We did it in English language. I forget what it's called, but it's pretty chill. So, besides that, what else do we have? Well, it's where water comes from. It's a hole in the ground, isn't it? Look, there's water here, see? I'm in the wet. There's no well here, there's just like a little... I guess is this a lake to scale? Ah, it's more of a pond, really, isn't it? I guess. Unless those things are bigger than humans, but this wall suggests them the same size. By the way, why are these guns useless? I'm going off track, I'm going off track, okay? Where was my train of thought? I just fell off of it, but I'm autistic, there's going to be another train soon because my railway network works. Fuck you, the British government. That's it, the British government. Complaining about Britain, because Britain is doing everything wrong. And can I provide a solution? Fuck no, I'm a teenager. Do you think I have a solution for this? I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. I didn't have breakfast yesterday, that's why. Fuck! I need to have breakfast tomorrow, because otherwise I will be fucking destroyed. Weetabix. Not Weetabix, actually, no, because, right. Tesco brand Weetabix are more porous, they take milk better, and they taste better. Like, I'm sorry, you can stand by, like, buying branded Weetabix. They are more expensive, they are not worth that money. I tell you, they aren't worth it. Don't. Okay? But, my tirade about cereal aside, as interesting, I'm sure, as that would have been to hear, what else have I got to say, actually? Right, so, I have actually lost my train of thought, which is incredible that I managed to keep a consistent one for so long. But you can't ship water to places, the environment is dying, right? And back to the British government, people are trying to abandon net zero. Which, like, I understand that the regulations needed would stop companies from doing things, and that would technically restrict their freedom. However, have you considered that letting the industry run rampant means that you won't be able to breathe in 30 years? Which I know that you won't be able to anyway, because all politicians are fucking coffin warming at this point, like seriously. Why is every single country's politician fucking age maxing and then dying of wrinkles? It's stupid. So, aside from that, and the fact that Mitch McConnell is somehow still alive, which if you don't know who Mitch McConnell is, that's probably for the best. But, you guys are a little bit behind this guy, aren't you? Like, you're shooting people that aren't there. There's no one there. They're fighting the fucking shadow people in the 7-Eleven parking lot. I tell you, these men are insane. But, aside from my mortars fighting ghosts, apparently. Press E. E. Now we've actually got range to just pelt them with shells, it's a lot easier. Which we can't do with the British Army, because again we can't afford to pelt them with anything, we don't have the shells. We've got a tank factory that's run by like 3 guys with 2 sticks and a rock they have to share. I mean seriously, it's stupid. God. And then what's our PR looking like? Oh, throw them a dislike, that'll do it, yeah of course. I've lost my train of thought. I had it before I started this video, I ranted for like 10 minutes and then was like, actually I just need to film this, because this is like a crash out that I'm having to myself. I may as well record it, maybe like 2 people will watch it, it might drive my analytics up, you know? Who knows? You never know. I don't know, I definitely don't. I'm losing my mind right now, just thinking about that, I don't know. Right. Give me a second, I need to go away from all the noise at the I need to think. I need to think, okay. We stand on the edge of my wet cube, stare upon the moon, the sun, the other sun. Why is there 3 objects in the sky, and why are 2 of them stars? Where is this map set? Well, probably not Earth, given the state of the world. But okay. Environment's bad. Net zero is being abandoned because of government regulations. Right, of course, deregulation. That's the issue. Okay, we figured it out. We're zoomed in on something now. Now, what do you think the government's job is? Tell me in the comments below if you're still watching after half an hour of a tirade against everything ever that's definitely, if my channel was monetized, getting demonetized. Right? What do you think a government's job is, okay? As a citizen who lives definitely under a government, presumably. Okay, what do you think the government should do as a job? Okay, what do you think? What are we saying? Do you think the government should keep you safe? Do you think it should do the police? Okay, that's good. We can all agree the government should own the police. Alright, there are people who will say, no, we don't need the police. Those people are wrong. Without the police, we would have more crime. Like, I do understand that people can be like, no, because we just need to, like, have rehabilitation and, like, a weak police force. No. No. You do want a good police force. I don't mean, like, an ICE level police. I don't mean a police state. I just mean a competent police force that can process cases efficiently and actually work well with the public in order to be better integrated into the communities they're part of so they can run the country better. Not that the police should run the country by any means, because a police state is a bad thing. Okay? I don't want to have to say that as like a media literacy thing, but you really shouldn't want a police state. Okay? We all clear on that? That's all good. Brilliant. So, Brilliant don't sponsor this video. They didn't, but I wish they fucking did, because they'd give me money if they did. And I need money to pay for plastic. I want a Gorkanaut. I've got a Stomper, I want a Gorkanaut as well. They just look cool. I want one. But besides my tirade about Orc models, which I'm not going to start doing that, although I have started painting up that Death Dread that I showed off, the like Sentinel one. I've started painting him, he looks pretty chill. I could now put a Warhammer hashtag in this video, that's going to go brilliantly. They're going to be fucking confused about whether crash out and or crash out is a... Sorry, excuse me, but I thought that was going to be more violent than it was, but no, it's just like a bubble in my throat. I don't know how to describe that other than without it sounding like really weird, but it's just like, it was a bit odd to be honest. Could you shell that guy a bit more? I want to get this guy upgraded. Nuclear deterrent port. God, that mortar sounds cool when it fires. And it apparently does a decent chunk of damage. Holy shit. Right, but... what else do you think a government should do? Do you think a government should provide you with, like, energy and clean water? Yes? Okay, good. So we've agreed that the government should probably own the electricity, and it should probably own the water, right? Because that way it can manage these things, because you don't want a bunch of private companies making your people pay for water. That just sounds bad, okay? Like, people need water to live. People also need food to live, but farmers already do that, so you don't need the government to do it, okay? Let the farmers own their farms, don't fuck with them too bad, because we need this thing called food in order to eat and live, and we need to eat to live. I mean, Aladdin had like a whole song about it. So you really, really don't want to fuck with the farmers. And I'm not a farmer myself, I am just saying that it's probably like a beneficial idea not to piss off the people who make most of the food supply that isn't really expensive to import. You wanna know why it's cheap to import food made by farmers in your country? Because it's in your country, it's like right there. God, those balls are strong. Right, but just shoot more bullets, that's what you need to do. Just get as many level 5 monsters as we can for now. God, that is just so much damage, and then he's just gonna get like punched in the face by the patrols. Did they get to finish him off? Oh, I almost did. I hate lightnings. Nothing makes me happier than seeing them get erased. But anyway, aside from that, I don't want to spread hate, because hate's bad. Okay, the only way to have a good society is to be intolerant of intolerance. But what else should the government do? Should the government build the roads? Yes, because, well, they're roads that the people of the country are going to go on. Why wouldn't the government make them? It just makes more sense that way. You don't want to have to pay a fee to every separate companies to pay for roads. It's much easier to just have one thing that you pay taxes to, and that works. It's just simpler in your mind. Like, imagine if you lived in an area with a lot of motorways and you had to pay like a yearly or monthly fee to like a few, maybe 3 or 4 companies that own the roads. That would sound ridiculous. That shit would sound fucking Orwellian. Like if Big Brother was just Jeff Bezos, which I'm fairly certain he probably wants to be at this rate. But here we are. Billionaires own everything. They're the minority you should be worried about. Why? Because unlike all of the poor people who are a different colour you've been told to blame for everything, the billionaires actually have money to deal with problems. Your problems, that is, by making them worse. Okay? You might think, oh no, it's the Jews funding all of it. No, it's Russia, or it's fucking Bezos, or it's someone else. They're all funding it. Why? Because they can. Plus, you can't trust them to make good judgments. Just look at every single bad policy Doge has introduced since being made part of the government with Elon in its head. He's damn near a trillionaire. You'd think with all that money he'd have been smart enough to earn it himself, you know, and be able to make the country that he's helping, supposedly serving, better. Nah, not at all. He's complete shit, talking out of his arse, and getting mad at people for saying the word cis on Twitter. I mean, seriously, he is truly one of the men of the time. And I know calling him a man is going to sound bad, because let's be honest, that thing is a fucking broken bird with its stomach being held up by like an internal fucking metal ribcage or something. Like, seriously, no man's stomach should look like that. I'd understand if he was just like normal fat, but he's like ranked fat, like I don't understand it. He's like a different level. Like, I can't really call him fat, because he's not fat. He's just like got a belly that just... His entire torso is like wide. Like, it's like if you took a rectangle and glued arms and like got a rectangle like a cuboid, I guess would be the thing. But like, it's like if you took one of them and you glued arms, legs, a head and the fascias onto it, and then you made that into a man, and then you made him really rich for some reason because he's really good at being part of things, taking all the credit and then getting money from his trust fund. But yeah, of course, aside from that, what else is going on? Well, oh, I've crashed out too hard and now I don't remember what I was mad about. I love my memory, it's brilliant, right? Billionaires can't run everything, so there should be more things to restrict them, right? And I made like a little flow diagram, but I can't really make that here. But imagine if you have, like here, where money is, you have the people, okay? The people are limited by, so draw an arrow from over here, the economy. Okay, the economy limits the people. If you're poor, you can't buy things, therefore you are limited by it, right? That makes sense. If you're rich, you can buy things, so you're limited only by your amount, by the things you have to buy. But if the economy's bad, the people suffer. So the people need a way to mediate the economy. They can't do it themselves because, well, let's be honest, if they tried, we'd probably fail. The reason that true communism doesn't work is because there always needs to be somebody in charge, because people are always just going to go, it's far simpler if we all just agree with someone. Like, that's just human nature. I don't want to come off sounding like a conservative or anything, but, like, it is, like, miles easier to just not have to deal with it for so many people. So besides that, there needs to be someone in charge. So the people make a government. Now, the people should limit the government, okay? If we imagine the government is like the credit symbol over here, okay? People limit the government. And the government's job is to limit the economy so the people aren't limited by it. And when I say the people, I don't mean remove regulations so you can make infinite money. No, because what that does is like 6 people in the... is like everyone in the start benefits, okay? Because neoliberalism, as a financial system, works once. And that might sound dumb, because it's a system. How does it only work once? Is it only applicable in one country? No. What neoliberalism is it's basically the idea that the government should leave the economy alone. The markets will fix themselves. It's free market capitalism, it's trickle-down economics, it's your Thatcherites, it's your Reaganites, it's everything that everyone believes nowadays, apparently. Including every single UK party, except for the ones no one cares about, which are the independents of the various countries that just want to be dumb, having to deal with the baggage of England's constant stupidity and political ignorance. And also all the American parties as well. Both the Democrats and the Republicans believe in liberalism. And if you're a Republican, you might think, nah, I'm not a liberal, I'm not woke. Being a liberal isn't being woke. Being a liberal is just believing in freedom. Like, liber literally means free in Latin. There was libertus, an entire class of person that was just a freed man. Someone who used to be a slave who was freed. They like become a citizen. It's actually pretty chill. They like are equal with their master during the ceremonies. It probably wasn't as often as we'd like to think it is, but it was still happened often enough that they had a word for it, which is pretty chill, to be honest. I mean, I know the slavery, and I'm going to say this right now, slavery is bad, don't do slavery. Like, just don't. Never do slavery ever. But if you're going to, do it like Romans did. Make it easier to be free, and when you're free you aren't just going to be kidnapped and put enslaved again. I don't want any fucking American transatlantic bullshit in my slavery, okay? I want ethical, organic Roman slavery. I don't want slavery. I've said some horrible things in this video. I don't agree with most of them, but like, here we are. Can I upgrade a Centerfold from just like nothing? Like, if I just place a Z, can I actually have the upgrades, please? Thank you. Right, brilliant. Money, bitches. That's what money buys. Oh my god, he survived that. Yeah, fuck your entire existence. You were not ready for this thing. I no, these guys are going to do it, but I would have put money on if it wasn't for that wave of bosses there, him just walking through to, like, maybe destroy them. Okay, but neoliberalism, it works once. I'll give it that, okay? Neoliberalism as a system, it will work once, because there will be one generation at the beginning who will start in this free market meritocratic society, and who will build wealth, and who will buy houses, and who will do all sorts of things. Because they all start, ideally, from roughly the same starting point. Let's assume you take a society. You give it free markets, and you make everyone in that society equal from the starting point, no matter their race, their gender, whatever the hell. But some people will be more successful than others. That's just the way of things. You don't support every shop in your area, you go to the one you want. Right? Does that make sense? People will have preferences. Preferences will cause certain people to be superior over others, just in an economic sense. Not in a social sense. They'd still be, in theory, equal, but you can't really have social equality when you have mass, like, wealth inequality. Because rich people can get away with a lot more than poor people can, turns out. Right? So this system goes on for a while, and there's a second generation. Okay? The next generation is Among Us. Okay? Good for them. Now, what do these people do? Well, they build off of what their parents are still making and are still leaving for them. But some of them are going to have less than others to start with now, so you've created a disinvalued starting point. And what this means is that they won't be able to get jobs, because let's say if you're friends with someone who has a company that gives out really good jobs, well, your dad is, you'll probably be finding it quite easier to get into jobs there, because you'll know who to talk to, you'll know what to say, you'll know what to look into, sort of things, right? You know, connections build businesses, that's how it's done. So I need to rewatch K-pop Demon Hunters and some paint my Megadogs. Like, I've got 3 Megadogs that I'm paid to for my old company, and the plan was to paint them like the big loadouts for you girls in that film. So I need to rewatch that film so I remember what that was like, so I can actually do it again. I need a motivation to watch the K-pop Demon Hunters. But when they start at their new non-equal starting points, suddenly your, in theory, equal society stops functioning as well, right? Because, and this is just, again, this is all in theory here, they don't have an equal starting point, they won't have the right connections, so they can't build businesses, right, okay? And so, over this time, some people become above others because of where they're born. They didn't work for this money, their parents did, but their parents leave it to them because you care about your kids, don't you? If you're a parent in the chat, you probably care about your child, you want them to succeed. What is this weird? Oh, it's a furry. Okay. You probably want your kids to succeed, right? You don't want to have to make them pull themselves up by their bootstraps like you had to do, because the goal of every parent is, and should forever be, to leave the world a better place for their children, or to make the world better for their children, okay? Now the problem with this is that their children aren't everyone's children. If you're rich, because, well, your parents are more successful, you have more power to make the government do what you want in favour of your children, right? So you're going to maybe put laws in that allow schools that are a bit better, that can only be paid for by your children, so they're more guaranteed to be smarter and succeed. And you're going to pay the government to promote your businesses more, to lower taxes on you, so you can't do this. And this is a neoliberal society, so already the taxes aren't that high. And eventually, you get to a point where, sure, the government isn't costing people money, but you need to make your shareholder company, so your companies can start charging more for things, and stuff's becoming more expensive, to manage, etc, etc, etc. And it goes on, forever, until eventually, your so-called amazing, equal, neoliberal society where everyone can start and succeed and work up, pull themselves up from their bootstraps and get a job, and if you need a job, just go out, you can find one. Because no, the jobs aren't being given to you, they're being given to whoever's friends of you. And you might think, oh, but that's okay, you've got a job, that could sound hypocritical. I work at that job because my mum does. And I'm only there because I'm doing the hours of someone who left that job to go to uni, who is also a child of the people who works there. I'm there because of connections, not because of me walking in and going to my own bootstraps and doing things to my own merit, which I probably could have done, but I spent an entire summer trying to do that and failing because I didn't know any people to find the job with. So just a slight issue there, right? But that, of course, that doesn't make sense. Here we are. Of course, there will always be issues in any system. I'm not going to try proposing a perfect system, but what if, let's say, in this system, some people came in and they essentially said, right, you have succeeded, congratulations. However, there is now a fundamental divide between those whose parents were successful and those whose parents weren't. And yeah, sure, it's very easy from your high horse to just say, well, clearly their parents should have been more successful. Like that actually solves anything. When in reality, no, it doesn't. You're just being reductive the issue by saying that someone who is now dead should have worked harder. Like, great, good for them. Yeah, they should have. But they can't, so now what? You know, what happens to caring about other people? A lot of people do this, so people say that they're Christian, and yet a load of the policies they vote for, so probably differences in how many today. And yet a load of the policies they vote for, so so-called Christians, seem to exclusively benefit the mega rich. Like, where in the Bible did Jesus say, no, that man doesn't have enough yachts, don't tax him, tax the poor people instead? Where in the Bible did he say that? Or in the Bible did he say, hey, when you give to people who like need shit, you give to me as well, like, we're all chill, be chill with the poor people. Was he seen hanging around with the rich people? Was he seen hanging around where people in society hated and the disenfranchised? Was he around there chilling with the Roman Emperor, or was he chilling with fucking lepers and tax collectors? You know, society wasn't particularly big fans of, both because they don't like paying tax, no one likes paying taxes, and it's leprosy. You know? Think about it, these so-called Christians aren't being very good Christians, especially Trump. He's definitely not a Christian, he definitely just believes in his American doesn't. So, like, let's be honest. Let's be honest about that. Shit ain't good. It's just like what are the tanks doing? Probably not enough, but we need something like that. They'll work for now, so these commandos are maximum. Okay. Turns out I just need controls, and this sounds really easy to get the last way. It's just like that. Okay, but so what if instead of building this system where you have a like starting point, but there's no way to actually enforce that point? There's no way to actually enforce this starting point, right? Because the government doesn't have much power on the people there. Oh, you dickhead. The mortals aren't affected by that. They are. I guess they're Are you affected by that? No. No, you are not. Well, that's well convenient. Because he's just going to clean. They're just going to clean up all the small bits, I guess. We're just going to let us punch the big guys easier. He's already to the first corner. He's taking damage from the splash, though. That's good. Okay, but right. What if instead you build a system where instead of emphasising equality of opportunity, okay, everyone starts the same, or at least in theory should start the same. You instead emphasise equality of outcome. Everyone, no matter who they are and where they start from, can rise up through their own merit in order to be successful. And I'm not saying here that like companies need to hire someone because they were poor, because they were black. No, diversity quota shouldn't be the way to do it. Always hire the person with the most merit. What I'm saying is you give more people the ability to get that merit. So instead of being, I'm going to need to hire half of my employees as black in order to improve quality, I can't hire you because you're black. It's actually no, you've had the same education as all of those black people and they're on an equal playing field for you, so I'm more likely to hire them. Because they're more likely to be just as qualified as white people, and I won't need a stupid quota to tell them to do it or not. Even then, half of these quotas are just myths made up by racists in order to make you mad about something. Because when you're angry, you aren't thinking. When you aren't thinking, you're more likely to be dusted by a culture of someone. Like seriously, who is smart enough to not realise that those poor people who are selling courses on how to get rich aren't getting rich from doing this courses? They're getting rich from thinking that it make you rich, when it 100% doesn't. I think it needs to keep the tanks, to be honest. Commandos can be knocked out. Those Guardians are just so good. If I had bases instead of commandos, I'd probably be fine, because I have an excess of money to upgrade them with. What I really need is a teammate, to be honest. Just someone who can sit around and eat bullets for the first few waves so I can do the money. Or rather for the last few waves with commandos, and then I can get bases down and just bullets right in Warsaw. The best thing about commandos is that they don't actually give a fuck what bats are, so that's the bases, they'll just shoot the same target twice and then they'll just do one. Guardian's dead. Void is taking fire. He can spawn like what spiritual likes, they die before they even come out in most cases. That guy's dead. Okay, now we've got the full might of us going into the work. Okay, but what if you build a system where the quality of outcome instead of the quality of opportunity is recommended, right? So imagine, instead of all starting the same, you start differently, but you can still work the same, you know? And that could be like a benefit system to employ that the lower rungs of income are still able to send their kids to the good schools. They're still able to work such things. And this doesn't mean that everything needs to be owned by the state. You can still have private schools and public schools. It's just the state is more likely to help people get their kids into the better private schools, even if they wouldn't normally be able to afford to, so they can still give their kids the best opportunities they can. You know? And some people might go, oh, but that's just the state paying for everything, you aren't pulling yourself up, you're just working based off the government, you're just nicking from the government. Yeah, but do you know what the government's made of? The government's made of your money. I know, shock horror, you pay the government taxes, and what do you think the government is meant to do with taxes? Right? Just sit on them and make money and have a big stockpile and go, yes, we are the richest government, we have the biggest number in our country. Like, yeah, that's great, but then what happens when the economy goes to shit? You need to spend that money, how much money to use it. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if you actually think about it, it isn't, right? There's this thing called Keynesian economics, which is basically the idea that the economy will go up and the economy will go down, okay? It will do this, no matter what. Neoliberal economics is the idea that the economy always needs to go up. I hope you guys can see my cursor, because if not, it won't make sense. I'm using like a big, like a whoosh, to like actually show things off. And I probably won't be asked to edit this video, or to actually look far out of it, to actually find things, right? But I like how I'm trying to teach people things in the bit of the video when everyone probably clicked off when I just started ranting, because this video has just been on rants, but here we are. Maybe it'll do well, it probably won't. None of my videos will do well, like, let's be honest. We've knocked about 200,000 health off of them between here and here, but we just don't have enough speed to distance for 3,000 health. But that being said, we were killing summons back then, and now we're just killing him. And also, he's not back in the range of the commandos yet. When he gets back in, then it's going to up our DPS on him massively. Come on, boys, get your rangers up. Yeah, oh, he's going to start getting cooked now. Look at that number go down. Come on, just kill him quickly, boys. I want to get a triumph. Oh, you bell end. That's fine. We got 2/3 of them still firing, plus the Zeds. Come yours, you dickhead. Three still firing, plus the mortars. No, he isn't. We've not got enough time. We've barely done 20,000 since we've barely done 20,000 since we're not doing too well. If we can knock him below 250k, we can. We definitely can. We'll be lucky to get him below 300. God, he's so strong. Phases would have been the way to go. But the thing is, when I pick phases, I die a lot to Hubris. Or I spec too heavily into other stuff because it's cheaper and I feel like I need a solution now. Oh, maybe we can get below 250k? Maybe. You've taken so many nukes, mate. You must be hell of a. Are you going to kill me with summons, you jammy little git? Well, bye. See ya. We did good though. But yeah, basically the idea that the economy goes up and down. So you're going to have good periods, you're going to have bad periods. And to be honest, that is how the economy sort of do. So what if, and hear me out on this, it sounds crazy, but this is the idea, you would increase taxes and increase the money that the government is gaining from the people during the periods where things are good. right? The people are making more money, taxes go up, so does the government can afford to exist, right? You can afford a welfare state, you can afford a safety net, whatever, and you have money left. But when the economy goes bad, you crank the taxes back down so people can still afford to live, and you spend that money into the economy in order to make it, function. You flush it with growth so that it functions, right? Does that make sense? Does that idea work into your brain? That maybe, just maybe, the government having money means that the government can then spend that money to solve problems that may arise, Because it's like, great, the government gets no taxes, the economy is fixed, all the money you earn is now being given right to you, except there's been a hurricane and your house has been destroyed and you can't afford to fix it and the government can't help you with any workers, so you're going to need to get a private firm to do it. Great job. And of course private's going to be more expensive than government because it's supposedly better quality. Tip, win. That is kind of me giving advice, to be honest, but yeah. But a Keynesian system is basically, oh, something went wrong, it's okay, we can fish you out. We aren't going to, keep you up constantly. What's the music even sound like again? No. Anyway, I'm done ranting, and I'm tired, and it's 10 past 10, and I want to go to sleep, so see ya.